At this time, I welcome the children of the congregations forward for the children's message. Come on down, Court and Eli. Trey, what are you thinking? Not? We'll give Trey a pass. He's soaking it in. Good morning, young ones. Do you remember what we started? We started a little mini-series in our children's messages. We were going through the heroes of faith. And last week, we talked about a guy named Noah. Remember him? With the animals in the ark. Today, we're going to talk about a guy named Moses. Do you remember him? You can say you're not sure. Moses is quite the guy. He grew up as a prince of Egypt. He had the best education in the world. He was royalty. He was in line to be king. And then he kind of got into some trouble. He murdered somebody. He had to run for his life. He spent the first 40 years of his life, Pastor Fred's 49, he was a prince of Egypt. Then he ran away, and for 40 years, he was a shepherd. Yeah, until he was 80 years old. And that's when God called him and said, I want you to lead my people. So he went back to Egypt. Pharaoh let my people go, and Moses did a few miracles, the 10 plagues, and finally God's people get out on the wilderness. They're going to Canaan, and it doesn't really end well. But through all of these things that happened, Moses, was in charge. And Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, and there's one line, especially on today, where Moses had to write, because Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. Moses wrote, Moses was the most humble man who ever lived. Now, we believe that was inspired by God the Spirit, but I don't know if Moses probably gave a pause and said, man, can I write this? The most humble person ever. He didn't think highly of himself at all. That's pretty amazing. And when we see Moses' example, you can see even though some bad things happened to Moses, God saw him through that. All of these heroes of faith are incredible examples. So when you have a bad day, do you think God will see you through it? Absolutely. Even though you're young, I know that he will. And you have the example of Noah and now Moses. Let's hold our hands and pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for giving us examples that we can learn about and follow. Help us to move forward and see that sometimes we need to wait for you. It can be really hard when we're young or when we're old because we get impatient. Help us to see that you have a plan for our life, just like you had a plan for Moses' life. Amen. You're excused to go back and sit with your parents.